Welcome to Confessions of a Terrible Leader, where real leaders share the raw truth about the lessons they learned the hard way so you don't have to. Join our host, Layci Nelson, founder of Transcend Leadership Collective and former terrible leader. On this podcast, we invite you to step into the confessional and get real with the messy stories and behind-the-scenes reality of leadership. Let's get to it. Hello, friends, and welcome back to Confessions of a Terrible Leader. I'm your friendly neighborhood podcast producer, Mary Scott, here today with Layci Nelson, founder and CEO of Transcend Leadership Collective, host of Confessions of a Terrible Leader. Layci, welcome back.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Yes.
I think this is like our first official 2026 recording. So
it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. This is our official first recording of 2026. Even though this isn't our first episode airing in 2026, this is our first recording.
Yes.
It does feel there is a freshness and a newness about it, which, is exciting and sometimes a little daunting, but here we are. So today, Layci, we are going to place you in the hot seat.
I like that place.
Yes, you do. Well, it's one of the places you thrive, for sure.
Yes, it is. As my children would say, Mom, you're a yapper. So sometimes it serves you well.
Yes, most definitely. And today, especially, we're going to talk about leadership trends for 2026. That is quite nuanced. There's a lot that goes into leadership trends, thinking about what's in, what's out. Mm-hmm. And I just want to mention, we're going to see a lot of recurring themes. Last week, I attended an online webinar about marketing, social media marketing, and just tried to stay fresh. But one thing they led with is right now in managing your social media, something to keep in mind is that trust is at an all-time low. Trust is very low.
Yeah.
And the implications of that are far and wide. That is a trend, not a good trend, but that is something that we're seeing across the board. So talk to me about that. Tell me what's going on here.
Oh, yes. Okay. So trust in institutions and systems is at an all-time low across the board. And so if you are part of a larger organization, the harder it's going to be for people in that organization to trust you because you're affiliated with this larger beast, right? Of like, I don't know, I might trust my boss, but I don't trust the organization, or do I even trust my boss?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different pieces at play. Right now, I don't think we need to argue. It's not a contentious point. It's a fact. We are in a societal upheaval right now. Things are different. We are living in unprecedented times.
So tired of that.
I know. And we have been for way too long now.
Yes.
But there's a lot of things that are happening in this societal shift where the authority that people are given, it already was moving away from control and command.
Mm-hmm.
Being perceived as a good leader because you have control and command, that was on its way out, and it's only been expedited on its way out. Not only do people not respond to it, they actually view control and command style leadership now as a signal that you're actually a really crappy leader that's lacking any other real skills.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you don't know how to actually do your job, so you're falling back to just yelling at me.
Yeah.
I don't care. And so where we have the disconnect, and often I think can be interpreted as lazy or, kids these days, young people these days, employees these days, period, just don't want to work hard. And I find that to be absolutely false. What is true is they don't want to work hard for you because you give them no reason to want to. You don't make them feel connected, no sense of belonging.
Yeah.
You're relying on your title and what you think, how they should be treating you and how that you think they should respect you because it's how you came up. If that is your paradigm, things are not going to get easier for you. They're only going to continue to get harder as a leader, and you're going to have a harder and harder time holding on to employees. In moments of upheaval like we're in now, we're shifting away from, and these are patterns seen across history, but it's playing out right now, people trusting authority or looking to authority because of their level of expertise. And we're shifting more and more into, nope, it's not what facts can people spew at me that give them authority, or how well can they run and create a piece of data. It's actually authority is now valued and given or taken, I guess. You are speaking with authority and are received and perceived to have authority when you can interpret what's happening and help translate it so other people can feel grounded and anchored. That is wildly different than just spewing expertise.
Yeah.
An example of like, well, what the heck does that mean? Instead of saying, well, the data shows this is where the error is, it's going, well, the data shows this. And we know that all these 13 other variables are at play. And what do you think, Mary? Where are you understanding this to be? You have a level of experience and history that is going to be detrimental in interpreting this data. And the leaders that can do that and bring people into the interpretation process and help create that meaning and say, here's what I'm thinking, here's what I'm seeing in the patterns. Here's where I'm seeing that this is pointing at the direction it's pointing us in potentially, instead of just sitting on this is bad or this is great. You have to do it on both sides of the equation. If it's doing great, how do we do it again, right?
Right.
What are the factors that are attributing that? People that can really interpret are the ones that people are looking to in times of upheaval to help them make sense of things. And so, societal upheaval, but also let's talk about AI. AI is rocking so many people's worlds, and there's so many different opinions about how it should or shouldn't be used. When you couple leadership is human-centered meaning making, that's the number one thing, the number one 2026 trend.
Yeah, say that again.
Leadership as human-centered meaning making.
Okay.
That is what people want to follow right now.
Yeah.
They want to follow a leader who can put people at the center of the story and make meaning about what's going on contextually.
Yeah.
And when you throw AI into the mix and where it's going and the way it's being introduced, and it is a tremendous tool that can be used for the power of good or can be used the other direction.
Yes,
so,
that's true.
Yes. A strong leader is going to help draw the boundaries for their team and help interpret AI as an assistant. It's still a machine. It's just a fast assist in some areas, like around data analytics and pulling reports and doing some analysis. But guess who's going to make the meaning of that analysis? It's still us humans, right?
Yeah.
Leaders are going to continue to be expected to have, I think even at a higher level, some AI fluency with ethical judgment. Understanding that we're not outsourcing our intelligence to machines. How do we utilize them to really complement and enhance human thriving and human judgment? And critical thinking is going to continue to be stronger than ever because it is AI. It still makes mistakes, right?
Right.
To go, okay, let me critically think through this response. Does it actually make sense? Or could there be a misinterpretation of the data or lacking context?
Yeah. Right. Well, we've all seen those examples of when students turn in their papers and they've got the AI header and footer that are like, would you like me to make this more?
Oh my gosh.
They don't even delete that. So we've seen those frustrating and humorous examples. Obviously, much care needs to be taken as to how we continue to use AI.
Yes. And helping with the ethical use and a leader that isn't just dismissive of people's potential concerns of get over it. You have to learn how to use this. That's the command and control.
Yeah.
That's not going to get you very far. For example, let's say you're on a factory floor, right? And there is a machine that is making this awful noise. Your production is slowed way down and you run the analytics and the analytics pinpoint this is the problem. You also have someone who's been on the floor for 20 years. Their job is the maintenance of these machines. They know them like the back of their hand. They understand that every machine is its own creation and the owner's manual, if you will, is a idealized, this is how it's supposed to work. But every machine is a little bit unique. And so they have the history of, they've been there since that thing was installed. So as a leader, being able to make the person that has that 20, 30 years of experience running that machine and taking care of that machine and bringing them into the fold and saying, hey, this is what the analytics are saying. However, what do you think?
Yes.
Does this make sense to you? Does this seem to be spot on, or are we not aware of something? Pulling them into that discussion, all of a sudden you're defaulting to them and their expertise, right? You want their input, you want their opinion. You're not going to make them feel dismissed and useless as if you run the thing and then you say, here's the fix you need to do.
Yeah.
It's a much different approach of saying, evaluate, do you think this is accurate? Because you know exactly what the rhythms and the sounds and the ticks and the clicks are supposed to be.
Right. Well, and that type of leadership, it's this idea of true collaboration.
Yep.
And I could see that being very difficult for some leaders who were just kind of the control and command. It's all they've ever known. They're just completely immersed in that. It's like, well, I don't have time to bring so-and-so into it. But it's like, no, all of that time is worth every second because it's the overarching, I guess, environment of your leadership.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the idea of good relationships take a lot of time.
Oh my gosh,
a lot of time and effort.
And they suffer when we don't give them what they need. When we don't water them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So a good relationship, is it efficient? No, of course not. But that's not the idea.
Right.
In the realm of leadership, this collaboration, co-creation, we talk about that so much in our meetings, and it just runs a lot smoother when it goes that way.
And to your point, it's not efficient in the moment, but I would argue it is much more efficient over time.
Yes.
And that brings me to another one of the trends in our leadership world that I think is going to continue to surface in 2026 is the leaders that excel and rise to the top and are competitive are the ones that are going to be able to balance competing demands. So if you can hold the both and you're running an organization or a team, a high demand team, and you can really make an intentional push towards paradox mastery, which, I'd like to be paradox efficient. Can we get to efficient first? But what does that actually mean? It means being able to balance short-term performance with long-term human sustainability. It also links back to when you've got an organization that's burning through people and your retention rates are horrible. One of the first things I'm going to look for is where are you out of balance with your short-term demands with long-term sustainability.
Yeah.
And in practice, that can look like lack of clarity, or it can look like a set of goals for growth that are so ambitious that in order to do it, it's going to require a level of output from your people that will eventually crash and burn them.
Yeah.
And we see this a lot in high pressure sales environments or a production environment. People are people. And as much as we like to think we're invincible, we're not. And we all do have things that we need to do to take care of ourselves that aren't an immediate contribution to the bottom line. They're not.
Right.
But long term, they will be. Finding that rhythm with your own people and giving them the space and understanding that your outputs from your people are likely not going to be consistent every single month.
Oh, right.
They're humans, right? They're going to have some months where their outputs are incredible. And they're nailing these KPIs left and right. Other months where maybe they have a ton of things going on at home and their outputs are actually way lower than they would like them to be and that you would like them to be. And understanding that a really good leader knows how to hold both and not turn that into a situation for their great employee that at the end of the day, they do fantastic work a lot of the time. If you put them on a performance improvement plan for 2 bad months.
Oh my gosh. That feels so horrible just thinking about that. I mean, like, life happens and oh my gosh, that would be truly demoralizing.
It is demoralizing. And also, none of these things exist in a vacuum, right?
Right.
One of the things that's happening with lower trust in systems, lower trust in institutions, leaders have to get more and more and more skilled at creating a sense of belonging in their workplace.
Yes. Oh man. Yes.
Yeah. And if you have these dynamics at play and then you're really coming down on someone for a blip in their performance and expecting consistent outputs, it's not realistic.
Right.
And you're doing it in this context of they don't even feel like what I like to call, they're not anchored to you.
Right.
They're not going to care. They're going to go find somewhere else to work, even if it's driving Uber for a while.
Right. Because as you say, people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses.
Yes. And they'll figure it out. So the ones that do well are going to be the ones that can balance competing demands, live in the paradox, see the patterns in their people, back up, give pushback. If you're in middle management, push back hard enough up against your people that are putting pressure on you for, do you want short-term output or do you want long-term success? Because sure, we can hit this short-term goal for you, and I'm probably going to lose 3 people in the process. Or I'm likely going to then burn them to the ground so bad that their work is going to be abysmal for several months while they're recovering, like bare minimum at best.
Right.
The more leaders can continue to understand their people, pay attention to the patterns, pay attention to the rhythms, view them as whole people, understand that sense of belonging, and recognize that if you are able to do those things and at least advocate on behalf of your people, the belonging and the trust is going to go way up. And if you're the person making those decisions, you have a choice to make. So in my seat, I could burn you all into the ground. You wouldn't last, you'd leave, or you'd be miserable and the quality of work would just dissipate and the passion would be gone and the excitement would not be there anymore and all the things that make us great. So I am choosing to grow this organization at a rate that is sustainable for the life I want to live and the life I want everyone that works with me to be able to live as well. And the quote unquote sacrifice for that is moving at a pace that some people could look at it and go, oh, the opportunity cost, you're losing so much potential money. Okay. If we just want to look at one side of the ledger, but if we look at the other side of the ledger, what am I gaining by making these decisions? And these are where you got to be really aware of yourself and your own ethics and your own values and your own things that are most important in your life. And are you willing to literally put your money where your mouth is? Like, I got 2 more years until one of my kids is graduated.
Oh my God.
I know. That little baby you met.
Oh, that's bananas. How dare he?
I know.
I know. It's rude. I have so many kids leaving the nest rate. It's very rude.
Yes.
But anyway.
It's rude and shocking.
I know.
And so, even though we know it's coming from the
Right.
time they're born.
Exactly.
But yeah, I'm not willing to make the trade-off of missing out on the connection. I'm only willing to travel a certain amount. And there's certain blackout dates I'm like, I'm just not going to. I'm not going to miss his 16th birthday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and might it cost me, because there is something on his 16th birthday that I chose not to go to. And might it cost me a potential large contract? It might. But I have to make those choices. And for me, that's the reality of the sustainability, right? It's that ledger. And I love and am passionate about this work. And I want to still be doing it in 10 years.
Yeah, right.
We're 11 years old this year in March.
No.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
11 years from
We're
a little solopreneur. I know. I know.
It's wild. Amazing.
Yeah. So I think I got us a little off track. But yeah, it's just really leadership, wellness, and sustainable performance.
Right.
We are graduating out of the concept of, you know, I think in 2020, we were really about employee wellness and reducing their stress. It was a good start, I think, of a conversation, flexibility and all those things. But then the reality of it kicked in and businesses were like, just kidding.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. Get back here. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that the shift that's happening in our society at large is the shift of understanding burnout and stress, actually understanding it as systemic risk instead of individual weakness.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let's dive a little more into that. And then I think Layci and I were talking about this. I think we're going to do a part 1 and part 2 because this is just such a huge topic.
It is.
The shift in leadership trends. But let's talk about that a little bit more. And then we'll wrap things up for today and then revisit this again. And also, we would love to know your individual thoughts on, well, what do you see in leadership trends in 2026? How is it impacting your life? Whether you are a leader, well, everyone is a leader, but like you have direct reports or not. So let us know. We'd love to hear from you. But okay, Layci, let's dive into this and we'll wrap it up.
Okay, so if we take an anthropological perspective, which is always fascinating and fun to do.
I'm nerding out. I love it.
If we take the anthropological lens and we look at leadership wellness and sustainable performance in cultural systems under strain, health and endurance practices, so the ability to build that endurance, build that leadership capacity, they often migrate from periphery, like, oh, those are nice to haves, to the core of a social institution. So what once was considered soft becomes an essential survival strategy.
Gotcha.
And really gets centered. And so when you think about the times in cultural systems where that's happened, when they're not under strain, a lot of those practices and things that do allow us to have enhanced capacity, better ability to be mindful of wellness, self-regulation, energy management, sustainable performance, those things are happening because there's space for them to happen. A lot of them, they exist already. But when systems are under strain, those often are the first things to go because they're viewed as important but not urgent. Or sometimes they're not viewed as important or urgent. And they just completely fall off a person's life. But it's not an individual weakness. It's systems that are set up so there's absolutely no space for those things to grow or to be practiced. I think we're starting to see this shift in a business, in the for-profit world. Honestly, I think nonprofits have room to shift here too, where if you have people that are burning out left and right, it is not individual weakness. You have a systemic problem.
Yeah.
If you have an industry full of alcoholics, there's a few of them, you have a systemic problem. If people are numbing out, using different ways to escape, if you've got people chronically ill, if you've got people missing tons of work, if you have people that you're waiting for that rise to that output to go back up, you're trying to be patient, but man, it has not gone up for a long time. And those end of the year KPIs, they were somewhat reasonable and they're looking really far off and unattainable. It is likely a systemic issue. And when we start to understand that, we're going to then cross into a different level of problem solving.
Yes.
And the way that we approach it isn't going to be, well, we need more yoga classes for Mary. Right?
Yeah.
It's
like, that'll fix it.
That'll fix it.
Listen, I would never say no to here's a 4-pack to your favorite yoga studio. I'd be like, okay, if you insist.
Yes.
It's all Band-Aids. It's a lovely Band-Aid, but it's just a Band-Aid. But you're right. You have to dig deeper and realize there's truly a systemic issue at hand here. And unfortunately, those are the toughest ones, I think, to sort through and have some very honest conversations of defining and then choosing a path from there. Like, okay, well, how do we address these systemic issues to make this more sustainable for everybody?
Right.
And that's a really hard thing to do.
Oh, absolutely. And if you're going to do it well, the amount of digging and upheaval and skill it requires just to sit in the space and have someone picking apart the way you run your team and looking for the way it's not helpful. A huge level of self-regulation skills required to be in a space where you can be an active, co-creative, collaborative participant. And it's not you versus the person who's telling you your system's not working well.
Right. There will be no names named, but one time, a very long time ago, when I was drowning in babies and isolation, someone sent me a new purse, which was nice. But that's no.
Yeah.
Did not help. It's like, it's pretty.
Yeah, it didn't fix it.
No, oddly enough, I was still, exhausted and isolated. I don't know how the purse didn't fix that, but
Yeah. A purse. That's like the pizza party. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or bringing in donuts or, like you said, here's a yoga class. That'll fix it. Mary, are you feeling more relaxed now?
Right. Or here's an extra vacation day.
Yeah. One day.
Which these things are all lovely.
Yes. These are not bad things.
You're not addressing the root issue. Right.
Yeah.
It is the understanding that leadership wellness and taking accountability for the wellness of the people that work with and for you, sustainable performance, it only gets real when we look at it from a systemic level.
Yep. Makes perfect sense. And that would be one of the toughest things to dig into.
Yeah.
Just all across the board. But I love this and I can't wait to talk more about that. So Layci, Thank you for sharing your own research into this extremely complex topic. The research on this, it never ends. We're always learning new things. We're always learning about best practices and how do humans best function. And in the spirit of continuous learning, which of course is what we're all about here at Confessions of a Terrible Leader and Transcend Leadership Collective. Layci, any closing words you would like to share with our audience?
One of the things I would just like to share, and we'll pick up on this next time, Mary, because I'm sure it's going to spark a million things in you. Just because you used to, say you've been at this leadership thing for a while, and practices that used to work and the way that you used to run your team just isn't working anymore, it doesn't mean that anything is wrong with you. It just means that the world that those worked in isn't the world that we're in today, and it isn't the generations that are coming into the workforce today. And the context has completely changed. And so it isn't a fair expectation of yourself to think you're going to know immediately the right way to adapt to the new context without some intensive research, training, some guidance, someone to help you navigate all of this. Because leadership is not, as much as we'd like it to be, isn't stagnant ever. It's not something you learn once and then you've got it. It's a stack of skills and knowing when to use which skills and understanding the waters you're swimming in. And the skills you need are going to change depending on the tide.
Yeah. Well
Give yourself
said.
some grace.
Yes. Yes. Oh my goodness. Boy, oh boy. It's never been harder to be a human leader or not.
No, it
Well,
hasn't.
thank you. Thank you, Layci, for sharing that. Appreciate it. And thank you, listeners and viewers, for being here. And until next time, go manage like a leader. Thanks for listening to Confessions of a Terrible Leader. If you're feeling brave and have your own terrible leader story that you'd like to share, head over to transcendleadershipcollective.com/podcast to fill out a guest application. We'd love to hear from you. Confessions of a Terrible Leader is hosted by Layci Nelson and produced and edited by Fixation Point Productions. Music is by Leif Olson and Mary Scott from the band The Number of Months. Confessions of a Terrible Leader is a free leadership resource offered by Transcend Leadership Collective. If you are ready to refuse the limits of average leadership and join the leadership revolution, visit transcendleadershipcollective.com to check out our offerings for engaging workshops, strategic planning, and more. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a review. And until next time, go manage like a leader.